anybody, but it was a CFMS trip. And I went on that, and the Borchards, Chuck and Mary Ellen Borchard from Conejo went, and everybody else was from all over the place. We were the only ones from this Tri-County area, and it was a great trip. It was a 3 days worth of collecting, and it was camping, although I didn't camp. I stayed in a cheap motel. But everybody else can. I just didn't really want to. But anyway, so this presentation is about that trip, and then it's going to also include stuff about rainbow obsidian that I hope everybody enjoys. And I brought samples to show at the end. I tested out my lights. I think it'll work out okay. So anyway, this was in 2018, and Davis Creek, if you don't really know where that is, it's up the very top of California, kind of just below the middle of the Oregon border, and it's in the woods. It's in the Modoc National Forest. Beautiful up there, and there's nothing else going on. It's not the kind of forest where there's interpretive signs and picnic tables. It's raw land with roads going through it, and even the campground is dry camping, but it does have pit toilets. But other than that, the only signs you'll see are the road sign, the markers for what route you're on, kind of sign. And we didn't really see anybody else up there. So I suppose people go there to hike, but there's really no reason for people to go up there on vacation unless they're looking for obsidian, which is a great reason. This is where the campground is, and it's actually on a creek. Lots of trees and flat, and it's well, there were 75 people there. Most of them were camping. Of course, that's not 75 cars, that's 75 people. So the way the trip works up there is there are 4 places where they allow you to collect. And our trip took, the first day we went to one of the places, the second day we went to 2, and the third day we went to the 4th one. So the first place we went was called Middle Fork, and that's where they find rainbow obsidian. Now you could say that it's all rainbow obsidian, but in this case, it's the layered variety where you have different colors all in the same specimen. And you just collect it on the hillside like this, and you can dig into the ground, but there's plenty of stuff on the top, and that's pretty much what I was looking for. And it's abundant. And not everything has color, but a lot of it does, and everybody finds stuff. So at this particular location, the obsidian, you can see the layering of the obsidian. So this is a side view, and it just looks like stripes. You don't see any color whatsoever on the side with the layers, but having those layers visible tells you how to chip it and where to look. So what you want to do is chip away something that's gonna like make a gentle slope across those layers, and you're gonna look straight down like so. And that's that same piece, and that's what it looks like from the top. There's no way you would know those colors are there by looking at the side. So that's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's just like the first 6 or 7 layers. And so who knows what else is there. I haven't gone through this whole rock yet, but it's pretty cool.
Do you have the rock there? Because I can't see it.
What?
Do you have the rock there to see?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Do you have the rock there to see? Because I can't see it.
You don't see anything on the screen?
Just your face.
Oh, really? You don't see?
Oh, no.
Wait, is everybody just seeing my face?
Describing it. You're describing it.
Not.
You have it with you to see it.
Well, hold on. Is everybody else seeing the slideshow presentation?
Yeah.
I'm seeing the slideshow.
I am not.
Yes, I see.
Slideshow.
I'm not.
Oh,
Yeah.
bummer.
When the picture that you're seeing of Terry, is it just Terry?
Yes. Well, I see everybody, all the different people, but that's it.
Okay, why don't you go to the top of your bar and see if there's a view who's talking, the person, and click that and see if it'll, first of all, just bring up Terry. So it's like got everybody else off the screen.
View everyone, yeah.
Okay, it says everyone. I'm supposed to do, okay.
Mine says everyone.
Yeah, mine says everyone.
Karen,
Just trying to get her to flip the screen so that maybe it'll bring up the
Karen,
slide.
there should be a gray bar down at the bottom of your screen, and it has 3 vertical lines in the middle of it. If you drag that up, then you can see the presentation.
3 vertical lines. No.
At the very bottom of your screen.
Thank you, Brett. My screen's bigger now.
Bottom of my screen. I don't see 3 vertical lines.
They look like 2 on my computer. It's a little teeny box. You can barely see it, and you drag it up and your screen gets bigger and the people get smaller.
No. Now I'm getting people, whoever's talking is coming up bigger, but it's still not the, it's
The
still
presentation.
Not, no,
It's not showing the presenter.
no.
Oh,
It says
crap.
Terry Wilson is presenting.
Try tapping on her picture and see if it'll flip for you.
And you're the only, nobody else is having this problem, right?
No.
That's correct.
Okay.
Okay, now I'll go. Very top. There you are. Hold on.
Yeah.
Now I click on you and it doesn't do anything.
Okay,
Oh,
do you
drag.
see at the very bottom of the picture window, like if there's a picture, like if there's a stack of pictures or there's a single picture, at the very bottom of that picture, there'd be like just a solid like medium gray rail that goes straight across horizontally across your screen. Do you see that?
Do you have a Mac or do you have a HP?
Okay, if I go to the top, it says view everyone, view who's talking, view cameras, hide everyone.
Yeah, I think she has a.
You're looking for 3 bars that's lower down on your screen, because the top is just the grid, but you're looking for the screen. I think your screen is like at the very bottom of your screen. That's why they keep saying you need to raise it up. It's 3 bars and a white line dividing your camera to the screen. It's probably at the very bottom of your monitor.
Yeah, I don't have that either.
Gail, do you see the screen divided?
No. Oh, what do you mean, the screen divided? So what I'm looking at is Terry's Rainbow Obsidian, the picture, and then at the very top, I see everybody else's pictures got small.
Right. Now,
Right.
But I see everybody else.
you see where it says view everyone, there's like 4 boxes.
That's at the very top of mine.
Right. If you
my screen,
click that, you click those 2 up and down arrows and you click
Yeah.
who's talking, then you're only going to see me. And then the next person who talks, you'll see their picture.
Right,
That
but
way you don't
how,
have to look at all of our mugs.
Well, what if you go to the three dots on the right side in the upper, it says enter full screen. If she did that, would it go, or would just Terry show up?
Those
I'm
three
gonna
dots
try it. So I may lose you. Oh, well, it made my screen bigger by doing it, and the people even smaller, even though I had gotten it bigger by moving the bar. So there's three on that where you see where it says everyone, go to the right, and there's three dots, and it says more, and you can hit full screen and at least make the screen bigger a little bit.
So I have an older little notebook and I don't have that, but I do have camera position. Maybe that is because that's showing left, right, and full.
I think you
I'm
need to
fine.
find that center bar, what Brett said in the beginning, because that does, if it's way down there. Yeah, but see, even when mine's real low, I can still see the rainbow down there. It doesn't go out of sight.
The
So she should
presentation.
be able to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In any case, nobody
There's
is
some
seeing.
kind of setting that's not being found for her.
It's a difference between seeing my
Screen.
camera or seeing my screen, and nobody else is seeing my face,
I
right?
see your
That's
face.
correct.
I can see everybody who's speaking in a very small window up on the left-hand side, and then the presentation is in the middle. So I think it depends on how old your device is and which version you got when you went to Google Play.
So you see my face as a little icon along with everybody else.
Yes, I see you, and well, it's live video. I can see you on your camera, plus I can see your presentation in the middle.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna have to get on with this because
Yeah,
obviously
okay.
Terry doesn't have all night to sit here and work at our technical problems.
Yeah.
okay, I will just listen because I can't get it. That's okay.
Okay. Well, we can see you, and if you are on the same version
well,
I'm on, it's recording, so you may be able to go back and look at it.
I'm going to be doing this with Culver City next week. So it'll be on Zoom. So maybe you can tune in to their meeting and watch it.
Cool.
Okay?
Yeah.
I'm muting myself so we can all hear you. Okay. Bye.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So anyway, let's go to the next slide and see what that is. Okay. So this one is the same idea. On this rock, you actually see some sheen in the obsidian, and sheen happens when they're little microscopic.
I'm sorry, Terry, but can everyone mute themselves while Terry's doing her presentation? So we could hear, so the rest of us can hear. Thanks.
So sheen happens when little microscopic air bubbles are in the flow, and it reflects back and is sparkly. So they actually call this aurora, an aurora effect with the rainbow, and that's something that you find in that location as well. The woman on the right is from San Diego, and she came up, and she was my car mate, and she also stayed at the cheap motel where I stayed, and she was my traveling companion up here. We didn't drive to Davis Creek together, but we met up here. So this is their little post office slash convenience store slash outpost. Basically the only commercial thing going on in Davis Creek, which is really just a blip on the road up there. Then they have a barbecue on Friday night, which is really awesome. So this road cut is not in the forest. It's off of 395, and it's a place to collect. We stopped there, and what they have there are these couples these pebbles that are striped, and I thought, ooh, these, because after seeing what all the stripes did at the rainbow side, I thought this would be fun to inspect back at home and whatnot. So I gathered up a bunch of these pebbles, and actually, as it turns out, there's nothing there. When you polish them, those stripes even just disappear. So anyway, I figured that'd be good for the kids booth. But I just threw that in because that's one of the places that people go to collect, because it's public land. It's not part of the forest, and you're allowed to collect there, but it's really not worth it. There's somebody's making noises. Can you mute her, Stephanie? Can you mute people?
Yeah, Stephanie or whoever's in charge should be able to mute everybody.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
I was gonna say I couldn't hear Terry.
Okay, so the next day we went to the Pink Lady Mine, and that's Dick Pankey. He's in the CFMS, a long time CFMS officer and whatnot. Anyway, he's been to these collecting areas many times, and he was our leader, and he had a lot of information, and he was a good leader. So at the Pink Lady Mine, that's where they find the pink obsidian, or purple, depending on how you think about it. There's also some green and some pink and green kind of happening together, and a little bit of rainbow, but mostly it's the pink, a little bit of green. So I threw this shot in because this was a shady spot. This place had trees, so you could sit in the shade and hold your stuff in the sun, and you've got the best of both worlds, because you need the sun. You really can't see much on a cloudy day. It just isn't going to happen. So but it was a little warm, and so the shade was nice, and that's a bucket of water on the right, and my rock hammer, and a couple of buckets. So that was my setup. So here's some material from there, and you can see that it's just like massive color. It's not stripy like those other images, like those other rocks were from the other place. However, there is some layering, and in fact, this piece, I guess it's, I have this piece with me, and I'll show it to you. The other side has a bunch of different colors in it. I guess I didn't make a slide for that. This has been ground a little bit on the genie, and actually those lines are lines from the genie, and but you can see it's purple and green on that one. So not too far from that location is the Needles Pit, and what this is it's an area where it's mahogany obsidian, but nobody understands how this fracturing, what caused all this fracturing, but it's kind of in a fibrous matrix. And what happens is you have all this fibrous matrix, and then once in a while you'll get these needles like this that fall out of it. And these are only a couple of inches long, but you can get, and that's pretty typical, but you can get longer ones. And there's a guy there that has a commercial permit. Well, I guess he doesn't anymore, but he makes wind chimes, and he comes to Davis Creek every summer for a couple of months and collects a bunch of needles, and then for the rest of the year, he and his wife make wind chimes, and they sell them. And they do really high-end wind chimes. they're just gorgeous, and they sell for a lot of money, and they're in galleries and stuff like that. And he's the one that has actually kind of excavated and developed this location. He's terraced it and makes sure that it's safe and people can walk around, and he's very helpful with collectors as long as you respect the space that he's working in, and really nice guy. So, but since it's mahogany, there is other stuff there, and this is what kind of captured my interest more than the needles, that I wasn't expecting to find anything. I didn't know what was up there. This is called double flow, and the reason being that you can see the little pebbles of regular mahogany, and then a lighter mahogany, and they're so that was the first flow. What caused us the black and black and brown, and then it all got chomped up and churned up and flowed again, and then cemented together into this conglomerate. So they call that double flow because it flowed twice. But what interested me was, of course, all the different colors and shades of the mahogany, and it's a little bit translucent, sort of translucent. And some pieces are a little bit translucent. It's not as opaque as regular mahogany. Anyway, that's what I collected at that spot. I thought it was really beautiful stuff. And then Saturday night they have a potluck. And dry camping is kind of like the Wiley's Well trip with the Thanksgiving potluck. You wouldn't think that it would be conducive with dry camping, but it really works. And there's a guy that had gone fishing, and he brought fresh fish, and anyway, it was a lot of fun. It was a good trip there. You can see Mary Ellen Borchard on the lower right there, and that's me in the yellow shirt, and my car mate leaning over talking to me here. That's the campground. So then the fourth place is called the Rainbow Mine, and it also has some of the stripy rainbow obsidian, but the thing you want to look for there is this really brilliant blue color, and it's really hard to find. Now, I have to say, this isn't like a flow happened and it's all right there, one big flow. No, flow happened, but then it got all chomped up and thrown around and churned up. I mean, it's geology. Things happen. So if you find a piece of blue, the rock next to it's not necessarily going to be broken off for that same flow. In fact, it's more than likely no way that's going to happen. So I did find a good blue one, a couple of blue ones. Most people were finding a lot of silver sheen and a little bit of rainbow here and there. This is the blue one that I found, but it's not throughout the whole rock, just on this one section. And I have that here at the table, and I'll show that to you. You can see how big it is. That triangular shape is probably about 1.5 inches on each side.
Terry?
Yeah?
Could you move your cursor, please?
Me?
Yes.
I don't even know where it is.
It's perfect right there. Thank you.
Okay, I'll keep my hands off the screen. All right. I can't see the cursor. The keynote keeps me from using the cursor. So anyway, yeah. So that I haven't attacked that rock yet, but I'm really anxious to do that. This is some kind of rainbow that you see there, and to me, I think it's a little garish, but anyway, it is what it is. That sort of odd blue orange combination. And see, here's another another piece. Looks a little bit better there. And this is a large boulder. Some people were going after huge pieces so that they could make spheres or whatnot. My car mate worked on this all day and took it home. She likes to do carvings, so you can see how big it is by that glove. Okay, so so that's the end of the trip part. So now I'm just going to talk about obsidian. So this is a piece of slab, and when you hold it up to the light, obsidian doesn't really have color. It's just gray and translucent. Well, I mean, mahogany is brown, but it's opaque. But these transparent ones, there is no color. It's not like a slab of amethyst or something like that, that there's actual color there. It's all optical. And when you hold it up to the light, that's what it looks like. When you put the light in front of it, that's what it looks like. That's that exact same piece. Okay, so how does this happen? I'm not gonna bore you with details because honestly, it's too deep for me. I can kind of pretend to understand it, but it's still very complicated, and even the experts find it complicated. And I found some papers on it and some scholarly research, and here are some close-up electron microscope images showing what's happening on a micro level, and it's basically different densities of material, like a prism. When light enters a prism, it enters it goes from air to the prism, and on its way through, it bends a little bit, and then it comes out at a different angle. I mean, it comes out on a different plane, and so it shows how the light separates into different spectra, and you get the colors. So this is similar, that light enters from one density to another, and it's compounded by the ability to not only go through and get bent, but then to reflect back from the other, the face of what it just went through. Here's some more pictures of how these little pockets, and this one shows how the flow kind of elongates these pockets of different density, and some of them might be air bubbles, like in sheen obsidian, but it's all this optical stuff. And this paragraph I can kind of understand. At least it's written to like a high school level of understanding. So light goes in, it bends, and it hits the back and kind of reflects back in a mirror fashion. But because of the different densities, you have different wavelengths representing different colors, and there you have it. So that's the best I could do. So anyway, it's not like Jello that's a color. It's totally optical. Now I'm going to talk about how you find these colors. I showed you earlier on one of the slides that you don't see any color on the layers, and like here, you don't see any color on those layers. So you need to look perpendicular to the layers to get the color to reflect back to you. So so you can chip chip one of these rough, dirty rocks so that you get a shard that's on the layer or at an angle to the layer. So let's see if the next slide. Okay, this is just another showing the the side view shows no color whatsoever, no matter how you aim the light at it. You can also see that this has been cut at a low angle. So that's what the top of that same rock, this rock is that rock. So that's what it looks like from the top. And that's how you find what color is in there. And again, this is just a couple of layers. And now if you do it, see the stripes, because we're at an angle, so we're exposing a bunch of layers like a contour map shows the layers of the contours. So if you cut parallel to a layer, you get to see a single layer and maybe a little bit of the layer next to it, and so you get this this wonderful solid, almost solid color. And that's what I try to do when I make my cab. I try to get it on the layer. And there's a lot of people that find things on the internet that say, oh, it must be a 15% angle. And that's okay if you want something like that. But if you want something like this, and we'll see later what you can do with that. Okay, so these are cabs that I've made, and you can see how they change as they go around. These don't change dramatically, but it's the big one especially, and that's the cat eye effect, the chatoyancy, like tiger's eye, and things with a fibrous structure. So this isn't fibrous, but it has the direction of flow with all those microscopic things that I showed you before. How the material does go in a single direction, and that's what causes the cat eye effect. And these were cut parallel, as much as I could get parallel to a layer, and not on an angle. Here's another example. And notice that as they go around, you always see something. This is looking straight on also. It's looking straight on to them. And the one has a little purple and gold kind of at the same time. The other one is blue and green, and those are the layers. Those two layers are next to each other. Same idea, only one of these actually has some silver sheen in it on top of it. It's on, that sheen is on one layer, and that bright blue is on the layer below it. So you get the best of both. Okay, here's another one. So with any kind of cat eye effect, the higher your dome, the more cat eye effect you get. So if you made this a real low cab, or even a almost flat cab, you'd get a little bit, but not as much as you would with that, especially with that purple one. Oops, let me go back to that. That purple one really, that cat eye really flows around. This one has some silver sheen too. Okay, now this one shows, and notice this one is not viewed straight on like the other one. This is viewed at an angle. So this is what happens when you have when you cut on an angle. You're stuck with only really seeing anything from one angle. So now you see it, and now you don't. The one on that one comes into view, but then it disappears, and the other one you see it. And then I have these to show in person. So if you're, let's say you wanted to make some jewelry, a pendant or something. If you made it with any of those other ones that I showed you, where you were cut right on the plane, you'd be able to see the color and the cat eye pretty much from any angle, unless you're like really at a side angle to the person wearing it. But with one of these, you have to orient the cab so that probably you'll be seeing it a little bit from above, because unless you're really short. So for instance, this triangular shaped one, now it's coming around, you see nothing here, but you're looking at it from the bottom. So actually I should have shown this together. If you made a pendant from the triangular one, you would need to orient it with the triangle, the opposite of what we just saw. Let's go around. You have to orient it from right there, because we're looking at it from below now, but you would normally see it kind of from above, and then you would see the color. So it's nice to get the stripes when you cut it at an angle, but you're limited with how you can display it. All right, enough of that one. So here's another example. This is a rainbow that has a little bit of red in it, which is really unusual. Same deal though. It's seeing all that rainbow. It does limit you a little bit, but it's really beautiful. And this is just a raw piece with the blue, and I'm just moving it around in the sun, and there's a couple of, yeah, see how bright that is. So yeah, I could stand out in my backyard and just on a bright sunny day, just do this all day long. So that's the keynote presentation. So I have a light set up, and let's see if I can stop sharing. There, okay. So let me just, while I do this, does anybody have any questions? Ooh. Okay, so. If we can make this work. Okay, so for the one of you who didn't see the presentation, this is the rock that was on display when you said, I don't see anything. So let's see if I can get this right. This has a lot of stripes in it there. Is that good? Does that look like?
Yeah, we can see the layers now.
You can see the colors.
It's not real bright.
So this one is the one that's what they call the Aurora, because it has the sheen on it. This is that big blue piece. Get that, yeah.
Wow.
Get that.
Wow.
That's gorgeous.
And so that's how big it is. So I haven't obviously cut any more into this rock. This was broken. This was a shard. I had the big piece and I hit it and it broke in half, and or not in half, but it broke, and I saw that. I thought, oh, that's going in my bucket. Okay, here's one that has a bunch of different colors on it, and you get these interesting contours just because the shard is not flat. Let me see, there's some green in here. Let's see if I can get it to you.
This the stones, guys.
I can. There's a lot of green down. There we go. There we go. A lot of different colors.
Oh, that is nice.
What's this? Oh, I think I showed you that already. That again. Okay, this one is kind of interesting. This has some color up at this side, and it's kind of like one color, but on the other side, the shard came off like in a saddle shape, so it's goes this way and this way, so you get these interesting contours of the colors.
That's so pretty, Terry. That reminds me of Boulder Opal, the way that the different angles show different colors.
Yeah, it's fascinating stuff. Here's another one. You can see the stripes, and you can see how it was chipped that away. And let's see. Get this to show. There we go. Right. Yeah. This piece, I didn't collect this. Well, I mean, I collected it out of Bob Backus's backyard, but I didn't pick it up myself. But it's very green, and this is the whole this whole top layer. There's a lot of exposed places, shards, and it's all the same kind of olive green color. You can see it there. That was an interesting one. And this is mahogany sheen. So it's brown, but it's not opaque like you usually, like most mahogany is. It's a little translucent, and there's the sheen in it. This also came from Bob Backus's backyard, but this did come from Davis Creek. There's a location for this that's not part of their 4 locations that you're allowed to go to. And this is some gold sheen. I don't know where this came from. I cabbed it, but I'm not sure where it actually came from.
That actually came
Davis,
from Mexico City.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Davis Creek isn't the only place with cool stuff. Okay, so these are those cabs, and I'm going to put them straight on to the camera, and you can see the one. This one is you can see everything. You don't see anything on the other one, but if you look at it like how. There, you have to get it at an angle. So it's angling away. Let's see if we angle it toward you. But nothing like that. So but this one, which was cut on the plane of the layers, and you get that nice. You do get a little cat eye here but actually you get a lot of cat eye here, but you don't get you don't get as many viewing angles as you do on this one. Here's another piece. This one is just kind of interesting because it has both gold and purple in it. It's sort of a bronzy color and purple.
It's a beautiful cab.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to turn this interrogation light off. So Brett, I really hope that you arranged to have this trip because man, I was so looking forward to that, and it's so fun to go up there and find this stuff. It's just very satisfying.
Yes, I do plan on having the trip. Hopefully this year.
Yeah.
I have been reviewing the regulations that they've implemented, and it basically what it says is that the season will open June 15th to September 15th. Every personal use collector will be required to obtain a permit from the Forest Service, and you will only be each permit will only be valid for 2 calendar days of collecting at one of the 4 locations that Terry outlined in her presentation. The overall permits there will only be 25 permits issued per day at the 4 different locations, and collectors are limited to 2 5-gallon buckets and will be asked to show identification and vehicle information to obtain the permit. So it's not unreasonable what they're asking. I'm glad that they were able to come up with something so that we can actually go back and continue to collect for our personal needs and wants.
Actually, that new all those regulations that you just read, the only thing different from that than the way it used to be before earlier this year is that the 2-day thing. It used to be a 2-week time period you had to use this, but it was still the 2 buckets, 100 pounds. You have to get the permit, which is free. And I don't think they had a 25-person limit either, because, like I say, there were 75 of us on this field trip. So
no, it's a 25 permit per day.
Yeah, exactly. So that's new too. That plus the 2-day thing is new. That's new, and also they're not issuing commercial permits anymore. So
Correct.
I don't know what the Sunshine guy's going to do. I hope he has a stockpile. So yeah, I think it's reasonable, and you can put a lot in 2 buckets, and you just get the good stuff. You'll be fine.
Cool.
So you work on that, Brett. You get us this trip going.
Yeah, that'd
Yes,
be
ma'am.
fun.
Any
Yeah,
questions?
sign me up, Brett.
Does anybody have anybody else have any questions about any of the stuff that I talked about?
No, the Pink Lady area, was that area specifically for those pink and purple stones, or was that just a name?
Yeah, it's because of the pink and purple material that you find there. Each place kind of has its own unique selection of stuff, which makes you wonder, God, what else is up there? And all those places that people haven't dug holes into. Yeah, it's not as easy to find the pink stuff at the Pink Lady or the blue stuff at the other one as it is to find the rainbow at the rainbow or at that first location. There's a lot of easy pickings there. The Pink Lady was a little tougher. I think partly because it's harder to look at a rock and know where to chip it. Of course, from my experience, I went back after on Monday after the trip, and I went back to the pink lady, and I thought, I wonder if I pick up some of these rocks that other people threw down because they didn't find anything, I wonder if I can find something in them. So I picked up a bunch of stuff that had maybe had just one chip taken out of it. And if you noticed with the way I showed how you find the color, if you just take one chip, there's really a kind of a low probability that you'll see anything. You have to try it on different planes to find that color. So hopefully anybody that's going to go on this trip will learn a little bit about how to inspect the rocks in the field and find some good stuff.
Terry, I do have a request.
Yes.
Could you send me the information from that technical document that you showed in your presentation? Because
Sure.
I get bored and I need something to read.
Good luck. You need something to put you to sleep.
No, I don't have any problem with that.
Okay. Yeah, it's a PDF. I downloaded it from the internet, and I really looked hard to find some explanation for what causes this phenomenon in obsidian rainbow, these kind of obsidians, and that was really the most I could come up with. And it's there's a lot of stuff nobody knows about. Like up in Trona, I tried to ask these guys, well, how long does it take to grow one of these Hanksite crystals? They said, well, nobody knows. We can't do it in the lab. We don't know. Some of these things you just don't know. And there's questions about how the agates really form, or geodes and those things. And so this is kind of like that. It's a lot of people just don't really have an answer for it. But I could send you that for sure.
Do you think there's a lot of material left, the pink and the blue and all that, or just people are just not
Oh.
finding it, or do you think it's just?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because it's all in the ground. It's like I say, the stuff has been churned up and it's been collected and turned over, and there's stuff that's probably never been dug into, and it's just a matter of inspecting the rocks, and in some places like the Rainbow Mine at the end, where people were digging in pits, there appears to be a lot of untouched land there. In fact, the pit I was in, it had like a fibrous matrix. It was different than just dirt that was like somebody had collected and thrown things in a pile and it settled and now you're digging it up again. It seemed like it was a virgin land. So I think there is an awful lot of that there. And even though people have been collecting there for decades or probably centuries, not the Indians. Of course, I don't know if they were looking for the same thing we're looking for, but they just wanted to make some tools. But anyway, even given that people have been collecting there for possibly 100 years, there's a lot of land up there. And when you go watch people collect, they often will gravitate to a place that somebody's already been, and you'll see them continuing to dig in the same place or expanding that thing. But there appeared to be a lot of undisturbed areas that hadn't been dug into yet. And like I say, people miss stuff because they don't know what they're looking for, or they're impatient, or they're looking for a big rock. I found a lot of this. The guys especially are like this. They want a big rock, and they're not going to be interested in stuff that's this big. Which for cab, you can make some pretty good cabs out of something that big. So there's a lot of stuff that just gets passed over. I think it's like any collecting area.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. I guess I'm going to thank you, and
Okay.
I'm going to start. Let's see. Organizer.
Thank you, Terry.
Thank you.
Thank
You're
you,
welcome.
Terry. That was a wonderful presentation.
Yeah, it was really interesting.
Yeah.
And
Well,
Thank you,
thank you.
Terry.
2 weeks in a
Thank you,
row.
Terry.
And like I say,
Thank you,
I'm
Terry.
going to do this for Culver City on Monday. So if any of you didn't see the slide presentation,
Believe it or not, I got it on.
oh, it worked for you finally?
Yeah, I found it wasn't lines. It was like a double squares, and when I hit it, it brought it up.
Ah,
Oh, cool.
Oh, so
Cool.
you got to see it
So
after.
I did see most of it.
Good.
Good
job, Terry.
Okay, thank you.
very
Oh, that was
good.
You're
great.
welcome.
Well, it was fun coming into
Thank you,
your.
Terry. Good Thank you. presentation.
Yeah, and thanks for doing this. You know, like this is a lot of work to set this up, and so thank you very much for doing that too.
Yes. Well, I'm going to start the board meeting, or not the board meeting, the general meeting, and I'm going to start off with an announcement. As you probably are aware, the Gold Coast Show has been canceled. The Ventura Fairground Fair has been canceled. And the OGMS show we hadn't booked yet. So we can't say it's canceled because we didn't book it because in 2019 we didn't know what was going on with the pack and then the COVID thing. But I'm going to take advantage of Diane being right there. Do you have anything you want to comment about the Ventura County Fair or anything else about the Gold Coast show? You're on mute, Diane. Diane, you're on mute. I can't hear you. You're on mute.
Sorry, I thought I unmuted it. I guess I didn't click good enough. The Gold Coast show has been rescheduled for next June. So we didn't just postpone it. We canceled it and moved it to June. So June 2021, the Gold Coast show will appear again. And the county fair, they're still the animals. So if you have anybody in 4-H, they're still going to do that over Zoom, of all things. The live auctions, if you're somebody who bids on those animals, they're going to do that live auctions. But unfortunately, the rest of it is done until next year. So there will be no fair this year. Sad. I already missed my fair family.
I
We
know.
missed you too.
Yeah, hi, Lee.
Hi, Dan.
Hey, Lee.
So
Hi, Laura. Hi.
Hi.
I was talking to Lee earlier. I'm going to ask about the general minutes. Does anyone have any changes or revisions to the minutes of the OGMS March 4th meeting?
It was a long time ago.
So
I make a
Lee,
motion that we print them we accept them as printed.
thank you, Lee. Does anyone second that motion?
I
I'll
second.
that.
Could you say your name?
Brett Allen Johnson, second.
Excellent. Brett Allen Johnson seconds. So
Thank you,
I'll
Brett.
accept the minutes as they appear in the meeting. Aye.
Bye.
Any oppose? Excellent. We're going to accept the minutes as they appear in the rock bag. And so, Gail, that was wonderful getting Terry. Do you have any thoughts about whether or not we should have, this is a group for everyone, should we continue to try for an online meeting for July or because we're not going to have a picnic, for social distancing. Does anyone have any thoughts on that?
I think it's fine if we can find somebody who's interested in doing a presentation over this thing again.
Okay, so
Since we
Gail,
got the idea, Stephanie, since we got the idea from the Culver City Club, we should ask Brad Smith, since he's the one who kind of got this ball rolling.
And John has a list of a couple. Ventura, he's booked for Ventura a few, and there's a couple of speakers that are learning how, revamping their talk for this type of thing, but they're not ready for like July probably or June.
well,
If somebody has a
Oh, we're in
keynote
June.
presentation,
What would I give you for an offering?
I'm sorry, Terry. Please repeat.
oh, I was just going to say if you have a presenter that presents with a keynote presentation, it's really easy to do it this way. You just share your screen and no projectors to worry about. So maybe
Yeah,
you can think about
PowerPoint's
people
the
that-
same. Yeah, PowerPoint works the same way on these meetings.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I meant. Yeah,
Oh,
PowerPoint.
okay.
PowerPoint keynote is the same thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So
So,
it makes it really easy.
so Gail, we'll be talking to the board meeting some ideas, and we'll all be shipping you ideas on whom we could get perhaps for July. But so far, I think this has been working out fairly well.
Yes.
So I'm going to move on to Eugene Smith, and then Shop Stewart. What would you like to say about the classes and the memorandum and all?
We still aren't ready to do classes, so there's nothing going on down at the shop. It's just kind of sitting there minding its own business so far. Nothing exciting to report. Oh, I did set up a Facebook group. It's not really an OGMS thing. It's just kind of really a it's just noodle around thing. Using found objects to make jewelry or ornaments or whatever. So if anybody wants to join, they're welcome. It's just going to be one of those things where it's like, yeah, I got a pliers, I got a junk drawer. Yeah, it's something to do.
Do you have to send an invitation for that, Jean, or can somebody just find it?
You should be able to find it, but I can send you an invitation too. I sent out a bunch of invitations, but I can't remember who all I sent them to. So check your messenger. If I sent you an invitation, it would probably show up there. But I can send out invitations too.
You should be able to post a link in the comments of this chat. There's a chat at the top of the window here.
Oh, okay. Let me see if I can find that link then. Hang on. Just like actually go into my browser.
Karen,
It
go
works
ahead.
for me.
And perhaps, Jean, you can put it on the OGMS Silversmithing page too to help people find it.
Yeah,
if you
that's
want
where
to.
I actually started it to see if anybody was interested. So there's actually a thread there for it if you want to pick up on that. And the link is there too. But I'll see if I can find and just post one right here so everybody that's here can use it anyway.
Karen,
there we go.
go ahead and ask
I
your
was just
question.
going to Jane that I was interested in that. That would be cool.
Yeah, it's just, it's not like a class or anything. I'm posting links to, like little techniques and stuff. And throw out a, challenge. I think I threw out a challenge today. I think I posted it. I'm not sure. But let's see. Where do I stick this link?
Where is it posted though?
Well, Jean's looking to do that. I'm going to say that the Durley classes deal memoranda with the city of Oxnard. The city of Oxnard has agreed to renew that, and we're in the process of getting that all signed and everything. So I will do that while Jean's doing that. I'm just trying to move this along because I want to get this. I want to complete.
Did everybody get it?
And Brett Johnson, about field trips. Do you want to say anything about what you're thinking after hearing this? The Davis Creek is opening up.
I'm still disgruntled.
Okay.
No, I mean, I really wanted to take y'all out and collect beautiful gems and minerals, rocks and lapidary material, and things just aren't working out. Like Jean said earlier this evening, this is a poop show, and I'm not a poopy person. So we're gonna have the field trips when we can have the field trips. So as soon as life gets back to something close to normal, then yeah, we're going to have the field trips, and I'm working and communicating with the other field trip coordinators from the other two clubs, Ventura and Conejo, and we're gonna get everybody back out, and we're gonna get you some fresh air, and we're gonna get you some beautiful collection items and something you're gonna be excited about as soon as we can do that. Right now is just not the time to do that. We still have the scare of illness, and we have the scare of angry people, and we have curfews going on in some of the places that we can go and collect. So it's just not going to be fun for anybody. So let's just be patient, and The rocks aren't going anywhere. So they'll be there when we get there.
Well, that's the good news. So I'm going to move on to Treasurer Kathy. Can you pipe up and say your report?
Oh, there we go. Sorry, I couldn't get the sound turned on. Treasurer report is that our bills are paid current as of right now, and we are solvent.
I always love to hear that.
Yay.
Yay. Thank you. Membership, Carolyn. I know. Just pipe on up. How many members do we have?
Yes, I'm here.
How many members do we have?
59.
Wonderful.
Cool.
And
6 of those are the young ones, and 53 are adults.
wonderful. And I know anyone that's such a messed up time, we're still taking that money, and then we're going to be wrapping that up and sending out rosters. Correspondence, Carolyn, I've been taking the PO box thing. I've been going to the PO box for Carolyn, and we got the AFMS and the CFMS newsletter, and the post office wants an invoice, so we'll be paying for that at the board meeting. So that's what's going on there. Laura Driscoll, CFMS director.
Hi. So the CFMS has finally gotten around to the idea of Zoom, and they're going to do an online meeting next Saturday, June 13th. So if you have anything that you want brought up to the CFMS board, it's going to be the executive committee. Not everybody gets to vote at that meeting, but if you have items that you want brought before the CFMS executive committee, please let me know so that I can add them to the agenda by this weekend so they have time to put it on their agenda. And while I'm speaking, do you want me to go ahead with my other thing?
Yes. Oh, okay. Yes.
Okay, so if you have projects, and thank you, Jean, for talking about projects that are still going on. If you've done anything, if you have any projects going on that you've been working on, please send pictures. Let everybody know, what's happening, and that way we can all share our experiences through the quarantine and kind of encourage each other to keep going.
That sounds good. I'm envious. I'm going to do a little bit about Pebble Pups and education. I was told by Donna Napton that she has some of the BLM Junior Ranger books and some of the other material for Pebble Pups. So if you have any kids who would like to have physical books, Junior Ranger and other things, contact the Naptons and they could arrange to get it to you. You could either pick it up or whatever. But that's, I think this is going to be a long summer for kids, no matter what we say. So,
yeah, also Diamond Dan has been putting out his publications, coloring pages and things like that for free so that parents and teachers have something to share with the kids.
yes, and then the California Science Museum has been doing stuff for kids too, but I just wanted to get that out. And then the pack update. The pack is deep cleaning the space. They have new fresh paint, refreshed lighting. The storage cupboards, unfortunately, are gone. They received a grant from the California Arts Council to support the pack board development and a year-long and something so they could have a year-long programming when they could have programming. The PAC is keeping busy by being a location for graduation photos. They are a temporary COVID-19 testing site. They're doing lemonade sessions, so if you have any talent that's musical, they could do that, and they're posting it on their social media. What is kind of cool is for the COVID-19, they are working with the city of Oxnard to be cleared so they could have events for their small meeting rooms and banquets. Unfortunately for us, the primary requirement is that everyone sit or stand 6 feet away from each other, a minimum. And when they're setting up, they want you to be 6 feet away and everything else. They have other stuff like hand sanitizers, But with our meetings being 6 feet away from each other, that makes it very difficult for us
Yeah.
to hold a meeting or do what which we do is talk, or in Diane Cook's case, hug her dog. So online meetings for us is probably the way we're going to go. And other than, oh, I should say this, I should ask if anyone has any new business or anything they would like to bring up before we close. So does anyone have anything they need to bring up to the group? Okay.
Just want to say thank you, Terry, and also don't forget that we got 5 buckets of obsidian at Billy LaCroix's house, so we have things to look forward
Yeah. Ooh.
I know.
Yeah,
It's
we
like,
got some nice obsidian.
And
Yeah.
a lot of that stuff is Davis Creek material.
well, I know that I was just thinking, geez, I need to go out there and just hammer.
Yeah, and now I want to try that, like grinding on the layer instead of across the layers, because I think that just looks so much more pretty. It just glows. It's gorgeous.
It's,
So cool technique. Thanks.
Yeah.
Good.
I think I want to go try that out, but I don't know. I still like sawing. I would like to officially thank. Oh, go ahead. I thought there was someone else say anything.
Oh, I was just gonna say, well, maybe one of these days we can get it to where we get some sort of like use out of our equipment. Maybe we can do like rotating members time or something like that, but it would have to be kind of few people. So we'd probably have to do like some sort of lottery system and or some schedule of some sort. So
Yeah.
Ventura's doing that. They're doing a sign up, like the first 6 people who sign up can go up to their workshop. So maybe that would be a way to do it.
But our workshop is so narrow, and the airflow, it's troubling.
Well, we could put fans on, and we could manage it. Just less people. Usually we have people that are standing elbow to elbow, whereas like we don't necessarily have to run it that way.
Yeah. Well, that'll be a topic of discussion at the board meeting. I would like to thank everyone for showing up at our very first online meeting. I am thrilled to death about being able to do this and being able to see everyone. All I could say is part of me wants to just say, hey, we could just talk for a while, but I know that's
that was nice to talk before.
Yes.
Yes.
It could last.
Thank you,
forever.
Stephanie, for hosting this meeting.
Yeah, thank
actually,
you.
let me rephrase.
Thank you.
Thank your husband, David, for hosting this meeting.
Yes.
That is more accurate.
Yeah, thank David.
Thanks, David.
Good job, y'all. Thank you, David.
Thanks for having me. I enjoyed going through all that trip again. It made me feel good.
Good to see you for the second time this week.
Yeah.
You're going to be a pro at this, Terry.
Yes. Thank you very much, Terry. And
You're welcome.
That name I was looking for before when I was talking to you, it was Lee Pratt. So I just want to say that while I'm thinking about it.
Oh, what about Lee Pratt?
Oh, that he was at the other meeting that we've been hosting. David and I have been hosting other meetings.
Oh, okay.
And as you know, David's been driving it and not me, as you can tell.
Yeah.
Did everybody get that link? I put it in the chat bar.
Yeah.
Yep, I just saw it.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Okay. Yeah, just there should be a chat icon, the little word bubble thing.
Yes.
It should come up there.
Yeah, when you click it, it'll go straight to the web page, and you can click.
What chat? The Messenger and Facebook?
Yeah, I got it.
The
Thank you.
chat bar in the
It's on Facebook.
go to meeting.
It's on the
group is in.
What
Group
bar are you talking about, Jane?
Well,
do you want me to keep our link in the meeting minutes?